Footsteps meet on hardwood floors, laughter spilling from the doors. Different tongues but hearts the same, learning life beyond the name. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea and stories play. At the International English Cafe.
Let me borrow this.
Okay, welcome to the call, everybody. This is another session of the International English Cafe
The board
Zoom call. I'm your host, Tan, and it is Friday night in the Western Hemisphere,
Thank you.
Saturday morning in the Eastern
Thank
Hemisphere.
you.
Today's topic is branding. So, overview of what
Okay.
we're going to do is first, I'm going to play a YouTube video, which in terms of the YouTube video that I will be posting, this part, like the YouTube video part will be cut out so that, there's no copyright. So you'll start to see just me do a jump skip to the next part. Okay, and next after that will be an overview of the Harvard article regarding branding. And then from there, we'll have the members talk about themselves in terms of personal branding, right? So they'll be having like a defined purpose, kind of going over certain things with personal brand equity. So also having like a story about themselves. So overall, like at a bare minimum, this will require you to at least know who you are, like what you're about, what you can do, things like that, and kind of to be able to turn that into a story. The overall thing of this is having kind of a perspective of or basically having a perspective that you want people to have of you. So with that, we'll move forward to the YouTube video. So that's the video. Welcome to the call, Mark and Moh Moh. Hi, how's it going?
Hi.
Hello. And
Sorry for being like
nope, no worries.
because my connection isn't so good.
That's understandable. Other than that, hi Daniel, welcome to the call.
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
for understanding.
Yep. So overall, that's the video for what is a brand, right? So just to kind of give an idea of what a brand is. It's overall something that's focused. It's essentially an intangible thing in terms of how people perceive you, right? So you would want to kind of direct people to perceive you in a particular way, or at least in this case, these companies were developing themselves to be perceived in a particular way. So you can see that, for example, Starbucks, their brand is in the idea or in the realms of not necessarily serving coffee, but serving people, right? So they have their own language, their storefront has kind of an environment in there to cater to people, plus their products and services overall is to essentially serve people or to cater to people, right? Volvo, their branding is safety. So, a focus on ensuring that people are safe while they're on the road. Harley Davidson with their branding with freedom. So it's not necessarily just like how good their motorcycle engines are, but it's just that feeling of being able to be free while you're on the open road, right? Things like that. So hopefully the video kind of gives you an idea of what brand is. Because overall it's a little bit loose in terms of like how it's understood, right? But you could see that there's this idea of how you'd want people to perceive you, right? Or like in this case, whatever the entity may be in this case. Okay, so actually the shared screen should also be still stuck on the video, right? So I need to get out of that and then reshare this without the sound to the screen one. There we go. And here we go. So we're back to screen one, and we can go to here, and we can go over the Harvard article in terms of personal branding. So once we get through this part, then the next part will be having all the members to be able to kind of talk about themselves and in the effect of personal branding, right? So what is personal branding? Personal branding is the intentional strategic practice of defining and expressing your value, right? So there's a whole bunch of quotes here and there, but simple enough definition, right? As we kind of go through this, why is personal branding important? By determining your unique value and living in a way that promotes it, you can become known for defining attributes. That reputation can help attract opportunities in your career and life that align with your authentic self. So this is why personal branding is important. So as we kind of go through this, hopefully you got a chance to read the article. If not, just go back to my meeting notification. I've been posting this for the past 3 days. Plus, there is the Facebook event page to always go refer back to, which is here. I'll post the link to it by copy a link there. And then essentially just go into the chat and there's the link, right? So in the Facebook, the event page, right? If you scroll down a little bit through the meeting notification, there's a part down below where it says homework, and it has the link to the Harvard Business School article. So you can always refer to this link to get there. Once you get to this link, I do highly suggest you just to save the link, bookmark it, things of that nature, right? This will be something helpful to read through or at least to hold on to for a little bit. Okay. So going back to the Harvard Business School article, right? So how to build your personal brand, right? I did note down in the meeting notification, this in a sense the steps, but through the article you can read a little bit more in depth, right? So the first part, define your purpose. First step to creating your personal brand is identifying values, goals, and purpose, right? So there'll be things that you'd ask about yourself. So before actually recording the meeting, right? I did mention before about at a bare minimum, know about yourself, right? So in terms of knowing about yourself, these would be the kind of questions you would ask, right? So what are your values, right? So like, what can you do? What do you like? Things like that. In this case, what do you care about, right? How do you want to define yourself? So these are things that you want to think about, right? And then kind of to be able to use as a guide to start developing what is your purpose, right? When you think about it in terms of business and developing a company, right? So having that objective, right? Mission statements, you know, purpose, you know, what is your company values, things like that. This is kind of similar, right? But more towards just your person, like just you personally. Second part is audit your personal brand equity, right? Equity, right? So next, take stock of your current personal brand, right? So before consciously deciding to craft one, like others carry a perception and knowledge about you already, right? So this will entail certain credentials, right? Your education, awards, achievements, or any such accolades, um, social capital, right? So the kind of connections that you have made in terms of personal or professional, um, the quantity and quality of it, right? And then cultural capital, so your emotional intelligence and um, expertise that you have gained or garnered through life experiences. So there's already kind of a perception that people may have of you, right? So if that's something that you still want to carry on, then there's essentially you would just need to emphasize it more, right? Otherwise, if there's certain things that maybe you want to adapt or adjust, change, things like that, this will be part of things to consider, right? So that you can start to um, either adjust what you have for your personal brand equity. Okay. Next up, constructing a narrative. So like you're making up a story about yourself essentially, right? So once you understand your purpose and current personal brand, compile stories that illustrate your value proposition. So while a one-line statement can be effective, oftentimes prove your value in a conversational setting, right? So could be as short as like say like an elevator speech so that you can like quickly roll out something or if you're able to have a longer conversation then your story could be in a sense longer, right? But being able to at least have um, a variety of how you would like your story to be told, this would help to in a sense communicate out um, who you are, who are you, or what you're about, and things like that. So that it allows for people to have that perception of you. Um, Looks like people have jumped in and out, but oops, there you go. Um, Hopefully, for those that have came late, you have read the article. I'm just kind of going through the article right now. Earlier, I was playing the YouTube video. Okay, so next up, communicate and embody your brand, right? So um, this is kind of like where you're going out there and um, the brand that you have been fostering, this is kind of like you live it, right? So like whatever you value and believe and think in, you kind of just live with you know kind of like bring that out and communicate that out. Part of this will be putting certain things to the test for the most part, right? But you know, this is kind of like, you know, you really like envelop yourself with this, right? So after planning your personal brand, communicate it by identifying outlets through which you can promote your values. Just like marketing products and services, you can use a mix or paid, owned, and earned media to make your value proposition and stories accessible and visible to a wider network. So part of this could be through like say, um, a platform that you could communicate this out. It could just be you literally going out and networking, talking to people face to face, and or other types of channels, right? Um, Other parts is kind of extra, but like for the most part, I think what we're going to at least focus here is um, having you guys just to develop your brand, right? Um, we can get into the realm of the social media and the influencer and things like that sometime later, I think. We could make that a topic of its own. So I'm going to skip that part five, right? So that when it gets to part six, having put yourself out there, right? Then you kind of get feedback from everybody that's around, and then you can start to see where You're assessing yourself and maybe perhaps adjusting your brand, right? This is not something you set in stone right away from the get-go. You want to gauge your audience and start to kind of put certain things about yourself, your values and such to the test, and allow yourself to be able to adjust so that um, it molds into what eventually you will have as like your personal branding that you can, I guess, continue to communicate out. And from there, that's kind of like your personal brand, right? So overall, will be a way to help distinguish yourself from everybody else. Uh, we live in a world where there's over 8 billion of us. So there's going to be lots of commonalities that we as people maybe have. So what makes you stand out from the rest? Like stand out from literally 8 billion people, right? And this is kind of what would make the difference between you being picked for some important role versus, you just be in the background and maybe having missed opportunities, right? So, um, considering all this stuff in terms of branding and personal branding, hopefully at least having kind of an understanding of this can at least help you to then on your own time start to develop it more. But for the meantime, let's go into or segue to the next part where we all talk about ourselves, right? And start to kind of mold what we can possibly can make into like a personal branding. Okay. So with that, does any is there any brave soul wanting to start things off? Well, I give people a little bit time to think about it. I'll use myself as example, right? I think that's a way you guys have a kind of um, a template to kind of build off of. So for me, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, look, I'll jump in.
Yep.
I wanted to wait until the end or in the middle to share what I'm going to share. Tan, check the time. I don't want to speak more than 7 minutes
Okay.
because the objective is for them. Look, the way that I see this, and you don't have to agree, and it's okay not to agree, but you are your brand. Now, what makes you unique? I can only use this as an example rather than me. My brother Ronnie, since he was born, it seemed like, organized everything he had in the drawers on his closet where he puts the clothes, dresser drawer, I think you call it. And you could not move anything without him knowing it. Now, you might say, who cares? That's fine. But it is this skill that he learned at a young age and more that propelled him, moved him through life. He became an accountant. He became a professional baseball umpire. That's what you call them, umpires. And he worked in a huge corporation. He moved up quickly. Now, what does that have to do with all the things that he organized? That's how he thinks. Everything in its place. Everything has a place, and there's a reason for it. You open up the drawer again at his desk or any desk that he has, it's organized. Whereas, I'm just going to say it, you don't have to agree, it's just to make a point. I could go to your place, open up the drawer, and it's a disaster. If I was management, just looking at your drawers at your office, I wouldn't hire you. You're not organized. And it only takes 3 extra seconds to put everything in place. Yes, he learned how to speak with people. Yes, he learned how to make them laugh. Yes, he learned how to correct them when they were wrong. Maybe because of his sports that he was involved in growing up. But he used everything to get ahead in life. And he's a multi-millionaire because his way of thinking, organizing, keeping track of everything helped him, provided him the necessary tools to become wealthy by investing. Now, I just thought of something. Everything he did was to succeed in life. And I'm throwing it out. You don't have to agree. What are you doing to succeed in life? Holding a cell phone and texting. How the hell is that helping you later in life? I don't know. You must decide. You can be just as successful as anybody by applying and doing things correctly, methodically, in a proper manner. From talking to people to telling them what to do, laughing with them, but you're not practicing that. Why? Here come, was that more than 7 minutes? I apologize.
It's 5 or less
Done.
than 5.
Okay, I'll save my rest. But any questions you might have, I'm happy to answer. But you can do the same thing. And it starts, in my opinion, when you're younger and following the procedure, which will help you move up in the world or in your business or in your country, wherever you happen to be. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. So you can see from what Joe has mentioned, right? There's him using his brother as an example. There's a way in which his brother has built himself up, right? And in a sense, this is how it leads to his personal branding, right? Which then led him to this series of success, right? That's kind of like the idea that we're going for. Now, whether we have achieved success or not, like many of us are, still on our way up, right? So it's okay, right? So this is part of what we're doing here, where it's this realization there's always something within you, and you're, in a sense, molding it. If there's certain aspects of you that you don't like already right now, this is the opportunity for you to adjust and change, and or at least smooth things out a little bit, right? So that you can then refine yourself to what you want to be, or at least how you want to be perceived to be, right? So this is overall what we're looking to do. So going to myself, right, just to set myself as an example, things I care about, or what are my values, things like that. I care about people. This is what I found when I was at one point a team lead for a previous position, and that I realized that people are what helps to drive the work to be done. Being able to care about their situation, being able to care about their attributes and their abilities, things like that. Even as simple, or not simple, but even as like detailed as what is their mood within the day. Sometimes they just don't feel motivated to work because of whatever personal thing that has affected their life. And I find myself being kind of like a psychologist for them for like maybe like a half an hour or so. But then after that point, oh my God, just work mode, and they just take off, right? So it's just that sense of care for people that I realized that that's something I care about. I also realized this too, as for me, I help the Pokemon Go community in where I live. Um, so although this is a game, this is kind of something where being able to have a whole bunch of strangers you don't know listen to you, I think that's pretty powerful. And how this even can happen is because everybody has a goal, which is what we're doing in the game, right? Even though the goal in itself in terms of the game is to capture a particular digital monster, right? But then the side benefits to it is having this sense of belonging, having this community, having this sense of enjoyment that is especially family friendly. Being able to welcome all people of all ages, whether you're a kid to a senior citizen, and being able to have a place that you feel like you belong, that you can rely on, that like, you know, this sense of belonging is, by the way, Maslow law of hierarchy, like the third level, right? Is kind of an interesting one because sometimes in life we feel like we might not belong. So when you find that sense of belonging, it feels pretty impactful in our life and kind of helps drive us purpose to keep on doing more because there's people that we realize that rely on us and or that we can rely on in order to help move us forward, right? So this is one of the things that I found myself in terms of my personal branding is my care for people. So trying to be able to practice listening to people, to be able to understand people. I think those are very important things. Um, so this is all certain skill sets that I try to develop over time. So this is kind of like the equity part. There's education, awards, accolades, things like that, but I think more to my value of caring for people is towards the whole social capital of things, where making that connection with people, reaching out to people, just sometimes to simply say hi and hearing about like what's your day like, right? Um, it's not an easy thing to do just because, there's only so much time in the day. But, sometimes like being able to reach out and just show that like there's a sense of care is enough to kind of like get people going, right? And that's what I like because when when to be able to help motivate people just to progress or keep on going in their life, I think is a very important thing because then people in it will just be able to just keep forward, right? Be able to work, be able to do whatever it is that they care about or they need, right? And it's a very powerful thing because when you can have that forward direction, or at least a direction of any sort, right? When you think about it, like in terms of physics, a vector is basically a point and a direction. You can stick at that one point all you want, but at some point you got to move. Where do you move to? You need a direction, right? And it helps to sometimes, like if you're feeling lost, that maybe there's someone that can maybe provide you kind of an idea that like you can then develop as your direction, right? So that's kind of like what I like to do. Sometimes I like to think of myself as a bridge to connect from one thing to the next. And then when you're able to cross that bridge, then you just keep on going and be able to continue on with what you need for your life. Um, when I construct my narrative, I like to always talk about Pokemon Go. It's always an easy way to talk about this. I use it for Toastmasters from way back in the day. Even used it for my interviews. But this is the kind of thing that I use to distinguish myself apart from other people because who the hell talks about Pokemon Go? It's like a kid's game that what maybe like most people will think about it until you start to see that like how do you organize millions of people? If you have a sense of leadership and are able then to know how to direct people, have the knowledge, have certain experience to be able then to guide people, right? That sense of resourcefulness, then that's what it takes. And you'll start to see that there's a sense of like project management involved. There's a sense of leadership involved, right? Lots of leaderships or business and or leadership skills that you can just apply just to something like this, right? And it's a good way to practice those skills so that when you actually use it in an actual professional setting, you'd be surprised because you're going to come upon people who are going to be strangers. You have no idea of what their attribute is. You have no clue who they are. But one thing you do know is why they're here. Because the professional environment is something that will connect all of us in terms of what we're looking for looking for us to do, right? Which is essentially we're here to make money, right? In Pokemon Go, there's a goal. So although everybody is strangers, you have that one goal that connects you all. In the professional environment, although there might be other goals and things like that that people may be wanting to achieve, but essentially one common goal for everybody is to make money together. So how do you work with each other? How do you lead certain projects or people, right? How do you direct things? How do you manage the resources and inventory all that stuff, right? So a lot of those skills that I would play around, quote unquote, while helping out the Pokemon Go community, I translate that to my professional skills. And it's done wonders because I'm always working with people, I have no clue who they are. But then because we're connected to that one goal, then at least we know what our roles are and what we need to do. We get things done. So overall, that's kind of how I would construct my narrative on that, right? And communicating this out, actually, the 4 and 5 is kind of similar to each other in terms of like communicating this out, right? But essentially, being able to develop your personal branding, right? So like looking at things that you value, right? Looking at things that you already have. And then from there, starting to create your story. So essentially, that's what we're going to be doing. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, or comments regarding that? And other than that, okay, hi, let's see, IU and Francisco, you guys want to say something?
And this about the branding of yourself. You mean? Yeah, I think it's kind of like how to promote yourself.
Yeah.
And then the other will see that you have a value on this, and for the company can see that you are in kind of like a asset for them. So because you already have a important thing or one point in yourself, at least they see that. So like Joe said, like a content or something like that, and mostly when we are compete with the other people, we try to enhance our skill, and become an expert. Just only one skill, I think it's very important lately. And yeah, so the way you are promote yourself as well is kind of like a, how to say that, it's kind of like art when you say something in front of the interviewer. And yeah, I think that is become a valuable for your at least just try.
Yeah. Would
Thank
you
you,
want
that's all.
to segue this into talking about yourself and then seeing about how to put this together towards personal branding?
Yeah.
So, for example, like like what are things that you value? Uh,
Yeah.
What do you care about, or what is it that like you like and or at least are able to do?
Mm. Like you mentioned before, the what is the point number 3, communicate and embody your brands.
Oh, that's part four. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like
number 4. I think it's a kind of like a art you are to promote yourself. Yeah, so there is a kind of like a strategy that you can use that when you are telling about yourself, about your skill in front of them. So I think that's the point from my side.
yeah,
Yeah.
because like I think more particularly we'll try to stop at part three, which is constructing the narrative or building your story. But okay, um, let's see. I think also too, Francisco, did you also want to speak up as well? Like I saw you unmute yourself at one point.
As IU mentioned, she said the way you promote yourself. It's important when we are talking about personal branding. Adding more detail of this information, I'll say your talents. Show a your talents to others. Thank you very much.
Okay. So in terms of your talents, right, that will fall in line of what would be considered your personal equity. Like that's like what you have. Um, so showing them. So how do you show your talents? And this will be part of constructing the narrative, right? So this is kind of like you're showcasing your talents in terms of a story, and or actually you can just literally show it if you're able to do so. Um, so that'll be kind of the realm of showing your talents. So yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so would Matt, like you unmute yourself, you want to say something?
Well, thank you. My point of view about personal brand, and I think first of all, I would say to the morality in this person, and also relate to char characteristic and how we treat good to people around us, and kind of we look for a day better later, that we make the life better. And then in the audience, they look back at us, what we did for them, what we helped them. And I think it is one of personal brand. Another one that I would mention about tomorrow have to better than today. And that I would like to say, we never stop learning. We never stop practicing for ourselves to be better. That the ways we can grow, we can develop, we can improve. Not only me, not only you, but I think for the others as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. So those are more examples of what I would say would entail personal brand equity, right? So so you can see Matt mentioning things that we do for people and of that sort, right? That will fall in line of that social capital that you're developing, those connections that you're developing with people. So the things that you're doing for people, or things that you're doing that people recognize and can connect with, that would fall in that realm. And also the quote that mentioned that Matt mentioned as well, being better than yourself. That's that whole deal, right? Like, so that's fall in line in terms of the expertise that you garnered or gained through life experiences, right? So every day you're being a better version of yourself. And by doing so, you're accumulating all these life experiences, all this knowledge, all this skill sets, right? And you're continually building that up. So this all falls in line of your the building of your personal brand equity. So yeah, a lot of that helps in terms of your branding. So would anybody like to kind of give it a try and talk about themselves, right? And kind of go through this exercise. Part 1, defining your purpose. Part 2, assessing your personal brand equity, right? And then 3, then creating that story of yourself. So would anybody like to give it a try?
Yes, I would like to try.
Okay, Abigail, go ahead.
So I think that I care about learning foreign languages and also just gaining a wide range of knowledge and skills. For me, I'm interested in learning languages because it enables me to connect with people from all around the world. There is a quote saying that if you speak the native language or the mother tongue of someone, like they can build that emotional connection with you. And yeah, so personally, I like to learn a lot of things because it gives me a sense of achievement and also security. And for my values, I've identified some of my core values, and they are growth, consistency, and discipline. But I am struggling with consistency and discipline, but I'm trying to build these two traits by building habits, and then keeping track of my habits. Yeah. So I think that I want to define myself as a lifelong learner who is consistent, persistent, doing the things and showing out every single day. And I think that I also care about environment and the climate change, global warming, this stuff, because I once had an idea of inventing an environmentally friendly, a green air conditioner. Aircon. But I don't have the skills. I'm not an engineer, and so what I'm doing now for protecting the environment is not using aircon, and also not littering, not throwing rubbish everywhere. Yeah, I guess this is my part. Thank you.
Okay, pretty good. So you went over things that you value, you care about, right? You recognize in terms of your, personal brand equity that there's certain things that you don't have, but you're working on building upon, right? And that's also part of the journey as well, right? Not a lot of this is needed to at least be set in stone, but at least that's kind of part of the journey, right? You recognize kind of like in a sense a checklist of things that you may need. Although in this case, you at least have an idea about a couple of things. Good. And you went into a narrative of things that you have been doing that corroborates with your values. Very nice. So you'll start to find that as you keep on going, that like you'll continue to refine that more, especially because part of what you're doing too is you're still building upon your personal brand equity, right? Which will then continue to keep on building more upon your personal branding. So from there, then like it allows you then to add more to that narrative, right? Then you'll find that like your personal branding will continually build more and more. So very nice. This is very good. Thank you. Okay, so we have two hands. Let's see. I've heard from at least IU, so like hopefully hope you don't mind if I let Moh Moh go first. All right, so Moh Moh.
Thank you for giving thanks. So I always promote my personal brands and growing day by day. Yeah, my destination is the happy and healthy life. Yeah. So I am Sabitis. Sabitis. I am Sabitis, and also I am the optimistic person. So I learn everything from different point of view. So if I have a struggle or something, so I always focus on positive side. So I only focus on positive sides, and I understand that the ethics from the different people. I do the meditations, and I promote my skill, knowledge, experience, and also educations. Yeah, learning is the long journey. I try to learn. I try to learn from different point of view, not different point of places and different setups, not only from the educations and work and communications, and also social life. So I think learning is the most effective for my life. And also another thing is so I think I always focus on positive sides. So that is the good effort for my future lives. So before my sleepings, I release the stress and never thinking about my jobs and day activities. So I can take a sleep in the night. After that, when I wake up early morning, do meditations, and also I arrange my time management about my work, and also I create the ideas and to do my working process. And also I think I will organize everything in my daily life because of my positive views, I think. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So a lot of focus on certain values of yours, right? So a lot of it is the kind of care that you put into the things that you do, and especially there's such a big thing on positivity, right? So lots of aspects that you can see is very forward thinking. So that's very good to be able to portray those type of values, right? Um, we live in a world where like negativity tends to be more widespread, right? You see it in the news more especially because those are the things that capture the audience's attention. So it's very refreshing when there's this aspect of that's more forward thinking and very positive. So I like that very much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. IU go next, and then afterwards, Mai Huong, looks like you have your hand raised, so you can go next after IU. So IU, take it away.
Mhm. Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Tan. When I say that I care about, it means that I'm really consider about what happened in my country lately, especially for the farmer, which is the farmer needs something assistance, how to manage their income, and then how to make a report from this way. So I think I can share up my skill as well for these activities, special for accounting, and then I'm trying to give them assistance, which is I have a skill like uh, advanced in Excel, Microsoft Excel. So really, that I was thinking about, it's really can be helpful for them when they want to learn something from my side, and the way we try to share also with them is not just like the ordinary when you are in a class, because when you meet a farmer, it means that you meet a different people there, and then the way you communicate with them also with a different way, not from like a teacher and a student, but from what is the people that you are that already adult, and probably they will already have a kind like a knowledge about the how to promote their commodity. And then yeah, this is a I can promote my skill because I'm have a basic accounting, and then and I also know how to communicate with the farmer on the field. So according to this skill, yeah, of course that I cannot promote myself to the interviewer or the company.
Nice. So you have a lot of focus regarding more particularly the rural community of your um, in your country.
Yeah.
So working with the farmers, like so those are the things that you care about. So when you went into your personal branding, you have your skill sets, but aside from your skill sets, like your education, achievements, and awards, a lot of what you went through was really like your personal connections with the farmers, right? So that's not something easy because when you have a personal connect or when you make connections with people or entities, right, that like it takes a little bit of work to develop that relationship, right? Like all relationships, it takes work, right? So that's really one good emphasis that you mentioned here. So then it builds onto that narrative of being able to work with the farmers in order to then help support their livelihood in terms of their finances, right? So that with better information for them in that aspect, then they can then make better decisions regarding what they can do for their livelihood, for their business, or for their overall just survival, right? That's great. Thank you. Okay, so we have more hands raised up. So next up, Mai Huong, and then after that, Daniel. So Mai Huong, take it away. Mai Huong, you're on mute, by the way, so you just unmute yourself. There you go.
Yes. Hi everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Mai Huong. I am currently working in South Korea in a regulatory affair department of dental medical device company. My English is not perfect. I hope you can understand what I want to share with you today. For me, my purpose is to grow as a professional in regulatory affairs while contributing to public safety. What I find most interesting about my job is that I can learn about medical regulation from many different countries. In a broader sense, what I want to improve in society is that everyone should have access to safe products, not only in healthcare but in all areas of life.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Basically, you went into like certain things that you care and value because part of, or at least a good deal of this, right, is your own self-growth. And more particularly, it's in a particular realm of expertise regarding the your current industry of within the medical field, right? So part of your personal branding is more of a growth sense, right? So there's more opportunities for you to be able to keep on building upon your personal branding in this case. But at least already you have some experiences having worked over there for a little bit. Plus, like your experiences is a little bit international since right now you're working in South Korea. You're working with, I guess, certain information and or products and services that may be of different nations or countries, right? And you're originally not from South Korea, right? So lots of things about you touch upon the international aspect, which is also part of your experiences. So some of the things that you can use is to leverage on this idea of your global experiences, right? So that's another asset that you can add to your story, right? So that you can show that you have an understanding of various cultures, right? And or understandings of how to interact with various different type of people, right? So this is going to add more to your personal branding. But these are good things, right? So very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So next up, Daniel, you have your hand raised. So take it away, Daniel.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for the shot. So first and foremost, I wanted to tell you thanks for allowing me from being here this night. According to the topic discussed this night, I could say that, for example, branding is such a controversial topic because for me, for example, as a piece of advice, I could say that it is related with perception. Well, according to me, I'm not a perfect person, you know. Perfection for me doesn't matter, but what this achieve in this life is the success. How do you get the success in life? It's so crucial every single day, every single time that you put your foot up and try to get everything, to get the opportunity. Don't pass up the goal in your life on your regular basis and something like that. And in terms of caring, for example, our beauty, our appearance, this is not related with personal brand. Instead of that, I can say that we need to be candid, solitary persons in this life, and try to achieve all our goals, putting step by step, goal by goal, and at the end you're gonna fulfill, where you're gonna achieve everything, putting the maximum for, as you know. Last but not least, I can wrap up this comment saying that what makes me special in this world for people is that I only be honest, and I only try to prove myself, my humility. That's something that I live in my heart because and due to my mind. Thank you.
Thank you. So there's a lot of mention of how you're talking about things that should be, right? But how about yourself though? Like, what are certain specific things that you care about? Or, what about you in terms of your, your knowledge, your expertise, experiences, skills, things of that nature, for your personal brand, right? Or like for, like what, or brand equity, right? So what about those type of things? Are there anything that kind of like speaks out to you?
Yes, totally. For example, in my case, I could say that, for example, in my life, I got two careers: a physical a PH teacher, and also an English teacher here in my region, in my local area where I live. For example, I try to manage myself every time, and I try to do my best every single day. As a part of my routine, I practice, and not only I know English to know more words, and also I try to planning my lessons plans as a physical education teacher and as a English teacher too. Also, I can be accurate in talking different kind of languages like a French, and as is a part of my routine when I try to opt in and this kind of experiences. And I would say that my expertise is not the whole thing, but I try to manage it uh, day by day. Every day, I do my best.
Cool. So, you can see like a growth mentality to this, right? Plus a wide, parlez-vous français? Really? Wow. That's pretty awesome, right? So, English, French, right? Very nice. So, you're you have certain things for your equity, right? That allows you to reach out to a wider range of audience. That's a good thing, right? So that, you cast your net, a wider net out there. Nice. Okay. So let's see. We don't have any more additional hand raised, but would anybody like to go next and talk about
Yes.
themselves? Go ahead.
Oh, let Nazmul. I don't think he or she has participated.
Okay, Nazmul, looks like you have your hand raised. Take it away.
Thank you, sir, very much for arranging such types of platform. Already I have listened all speakers speak, but I want to say, I want to add something to this. And the first one is that define my purpose. Before going these topics, I want to define the brand is the different way. That means I think brand has two sides. First one is the visible, and second one is the invisible. Visible can be shown. That may be a symbol, logo, or something for a service or a product. And invisible things, it might be test. Suppose I want to brush my teeth, then I can recall the paste. The which paste is better? That is the branding. So I think brand has a sound. Brand is the reasoning that can help to recall the people that product or service. So that will be the branding. If I consider for my branding, what will be the purpose? This purpose will be such thing that I will remember and everybody will remember that thing. So what would be my purpose? First one is, what would I care about? If this question arise, I'll be provide the answer as I am caring about my creativity and continuous my learning. Why? Yesterday I discussed with Sarzo. He suggests 2 points. First one is the reading, and to invest any field, and that will grow yourself. So I very appreciate Sarzo that 2 point is very essential for me, and it's help my purpose. That is the creativity and continuous learning, and that's why I'm taking my authenticity and growing myself to achieve the purpose, and that's why I'm trying to contribute. I'm trying to contribute and fully adapt that I can achieve my destination. And that's why I'm listening, I'm trying, I'm reading, and to grow myself. Already I have added some certification from Coursera. That's my field, and it will be help for me to achieve my destination. And when I do every job collectively, then it will grow myself. And that time I will communicate with my society. I will communicate with my family and all sorts of are surrounding me and around us. And after a certain time, I think I will grow my branding and I will be happy. It was my point of view for branding and my personal viewpoint. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So you went into a spiel of your thoughts on branding, which eventually then you segue that to like, what do you care about? What are your values? What is your purpose? Which then you describe creativity and your continual growth. Although you talked about those things, but there was an underlying purpose that you did mention towards the end, right? Because why your personal growth? Why the creativity, right? And this leads into your personal brand equity there, where you're consistently listening, right? You're consistently trying to grow. You're consistently trying to retain and build upon knowledge, skills, experiences, right? But going back to it, right? Towards the end, right? Which is part of your story, right? You snuck it in there, which is I kind of like how you did that, right? You snuck your purpose in there, like really nicely, which is then all the stuff that you have compiled, you're going to give back to your family, to your community, right? And all those around you, right? So you have this sense of care for people, right? That you want to be able to compile all these things so that then you can give back. This is a very strong message to put out there, which is essentially that you built into your story, right? That you're on this journey of growing, and that this purpose of this journey is so that you can do something with it. In this case, you intend to disseminate all that you have compiled and give it to your community, give it to the people that you care about. That's a very good story. Very good story. Okay, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, let me see. Hang on. Okay. I'm listening, and it's fascinating. And we can go in 1,000 different directions and ask questions for years. I'm trying to sum it up. I'm trying to come to a conclusion. And the truth of the matter is, there is no conclusion. It's what you believe you have, maybe at an early age, and you are convinced it will help you throughout your life. It was mentioned in the past from Tan that, in the end, we want to make money to survive. Yet at the same time, the young lady, I believe it was from Vietnam, who helps the farmers, moves me. I'm thinking she may not make that much, but she's helping people. And yes, that's the most beautiful thing you can do. At the same time, if you are successful, like many, many, many millionaires, billionaires in the world, you end up giving back much of your wealth. So become successful and give back. But the key is, in my opinion, to try to sum it up for me, is try to do more than anybody in your area of work. Otherwise, you just go to work. Yes, you are very important to the company, and you go home, and that's it. If you're happy, fine. But I come from a culture where try to move up, try to do more, never stop learning. And you must do what you must do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see. We still have a few people that have not gone yet. Would anybody like to go next?
Can I go next?
Okay, Landey, go ahead.
Thank you. And could you please scroll up the screen?
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. And the first one is what I do. What do I care about? And for myself, my bachelor degree is pharmacy. And when I was in university, I hope that I have a vision. I hope that I can be an investor in the future, can create a medicine, can treat the most difficult disease. However, when I grow up a bit, I changed my mind and I transfer my major to psychology. So my master major is psychology. And I hope that because at the time I believe that most of disease sometimes are related to about people's cognition, how they think about the world, how they think about themselves. So I think that probably if we can change people's cognition and they can be healed. And actually, I joined in a volunteer program and being a volunteer counselor in a high school and help that students grow up. So I hope I can in that session I'm a listener. I think I define myself as an active listener. Listen what people talking, what people are saying, However, I found my limitations, so I continued learning to do my PhD in New Zealand. And for the brand educated, I think it is social capital because I developed my professional connections with people, and even in New Zealand, I work as a home tutor to help the refugees improve their English sometimes. And I hope I can contribute a bit to the country, to the society, and help people. And I also growing because from China, my home country, to New Zealand, being an international student here, and also being in this meeting open to lots of people from different countries and in different cultures. I think I'm learning to accept new things, new cultures, because sometimes when I learn other cultures, it's totally different from my home country's culture. So for the cultural capital, I'm growing and learning. Yes, that's about me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so um, that was an interesting switch up, right? Because essentially you were going into pharmacy first, and in a sense, trying to help people medically through the use of chemicals, but then start to see that lots of the issues that people may have may not necessarily require quote unquote chemicals or drugs to do so, but it's in the mind, right? Um, Kind of interesting because the field of psychology, depending on how you use it, could lead you in all sorts of directions, to whether or not you're a psychologist, or you could use it even towards like the in terms of business, in terms of marketing, right? And having the understanding, which then, there's lots of money in that, right? So like there's lots of things that you can do in terms of psychology, but that what your purpose at least is delving towards trying to be able to help people. So then when you went into your story, right? So things that you have done to set the examples of what you have um, what you do to corroborate with your values of wanting to help people, at least mentally, right? That's very good. You talked about you consistently trying to grow, so that's still part of the process of going about it. But like at least you have a good deal of social capital to align with your narrative, right? And also too, there are certain life experiences that you have already gained that helps you to put towards that as well. You mentioned something about listening. So my thing on listening more personally, right, is I have there's always people out there in the world that says like, "Oh, I just want to listen." What the hell are you listening for? And when I say it that way, there's that kind of double meaning, right? It's like, why are you like, it's kind of like a very snarky way to say like, why are you listening? But then at the same time, it's also asking like, what content are you actually listening for? So my framework on this is the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Right? So just like any news story that when you read through it or anything of that sort, who's involved? What happened? The setting. So when did it happen? Where did it happen? Why did the people, why did those characters do what they did, or think what they think, or believe what they believe, or however like that? Why? Right? And then how did it happen? So like when you have kind of like those questions answered while you're listening, you're kind of like putting everything in certain buckets, right? And then it helps you to kind of get the overall idea of the story. of whatever you're listening for. So for all those that are just listening on the call for some reason, like hopefully you're just not listening on the call, but if you are listening, I am hoping that you are listening for specific things so that you can retain the knowledge, right? Otherwise, if it's just going through one ear and out the other, then that's no different than you going to a YouTube video to listen, right? By the way, kind of weird because this will eventually be get onto the YouTube video. So if you're here just to listen, then you might as well just go to the YouTube video and listen instead. You really don't need to be on the meeting unless you want to participate and then also practice your English. But in any case, side note, sorry about that, Landey, but I like your story, right? So like you're able to provide the examples, personal examples to corroborate with what you're doing, and you're still growing your branding or your brand equity. So keep that going, and yeah, like also too, if you did study anything or learn anything through the realm of pharmacy, hopefully you can use that as additional knowledge as well to to be part of your branding. Because although you might not have completed that study, but you never know, whatever knowledge that you may have learned could help you somewhere further down in life.
Thank you.
Yep.
I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I understand your point about the listening. Yes. Thank you. I learned a lot.
Yep. Okay, let's see. Looks like you unmuted yourself. You want to say something?
Yeah, that because this is about communication, which is we must know that the situation that when we face someone special for not ordinary people, when you always meet day to day at the office, it's a quite different, farmer on the field, and then you met your colleagues. So the differences will be know that the way you communicate with them also totally different. And then you, like Landey said, is what is the good skill is a listening. Be listening also is very important, because when you are not try to listen to them, you know that you will see that both of them are totally different. You call it at the office, which is they already know that about all the information, and then the way you communicate with them is really a bit easy. Instead of you go to the field and meet a farmer, and then you talk with them, try to listen them what they have difficult or problematic on that field. So I think it will be different as well. So you must also have a skill, be a listener, a good listener.
By the way, kind of a other side note too. The reference you were making earlier wasn't Vietnam, but Indonesia, because it's IU's from Indonesia.
I apologize.
Yep.
Indonesia.
It's okay. It's okay.
No. Volunteering. Anybody that look, you learn so much from volunteering. So much. I can remember my father telling me on a United States military base, I never volunteered as much as you do. And I was in high school at the time. There's nothing wrong with helping. I mean, you learn a lot. Anyway.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
Hi, Matt.
I would like to say something.
Go ahead.
Because the key that I'm learning from my master of my religion, he said that we win ourselves better than we win 1,000 enemies. Because I do remember what he did, what he did, what he did around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because kind of don't give up, right? Learning and developing itself, and I think kind of sometimes I would say that I could not be calm down based on myself to something, to someone that I know exactly, and I myself to learn a lot in the future, and how I can control myself in situation that I win myself. And if I try to win my enemy, it doesn't mean my future, my development as well, right? And I have to win myself first, and that the boys am playing every single day. I look like I know exactly my listen have to learn, have to improve, have to grow up, and that I never give up. I try every single day. I try every single time. If I have a call, I will jump in. I practice with my friendship, with my partner, and who can help me to grow my English. That totally, I would say, don't give up. Pursue what you all want to achieve in future. Yeah, that move on. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, because I've known you for quite a bit, and you've always had that growth mindset, right? And at some point you went towards kind of a spiritual route in some cases here, or not some cases, but like you went more towards a spiritual route, but then that led you to focus more inwards, right? You became more introspective, which then allowed for more of this part, right? The expertise you've garnered through life experiences. I think that's something that's very important when you're building your personal brand equity, right? Because we can get all the education and all the connections that we want, but sometimes like your life experiences is some of the things that takes you further, right? Because when you see it, then you know it, right? Because sometimes like it's easier when it's seeing is believing, right? Because since you see it, then you can believe it. It's tough when it's, when not seeing is believing. So I'm using these references from the Santa Claus, by the way, that the Tim Allen movie. Even so, having known you, right? Like I know that you have quite the motivation to have others to improve upon themselves, especially within the realm of English, right? So that's one of the narratives that you've been communicating out there quite a good deal, right? So I like that you're setting yourself up as the example, because although you're trying to help others to build upon their abilities in English, you're also doing it yourself to set yourself up as the role model, right? And then throughout the years that I've known you, like that's what you've been doing, right? So your English have greatly improved, right? You've been doing a lot more to just put yourself out there and continuing to practice. So, very great, like fits with your overall story and everything. So good job, Matt. Okay. I see Francisco on the screen. Francisco, did you unmute yourself at one point?
Hello, Tom.
Hi, how's it going? So like would you like to go into yourself regarding a personal brand?
Great topic. Here where I'm living, there are a big amount of companies from the United States, multinationals, and they are always mentioned that the importance of personal brand. How do you present your personality to others? As you mentioned, your talents. How do you communicate? All those details from your personality are relevant at the moment you are in the middle of an interview. Thank you very much.
Cool. So are there certain things more specific that you care about, and or like can you and then like things about yourself that helps to build upon your purpose? Like would you be able to go into a little bit more details, Francisco?
I'm feeling personal branding is the way you are, but more than that, when you are in front of a interviewer, that's the moment to show you your talent, to perform the best as you can. This according to a job position.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So would you be able to have like personal examples to talk to, um or anything that to that respect?
For example, a graphic designer, a specialization.
Okay. Well, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. So you can kind of see that like at least one aspect of how you can apply to it, right? Is like towards like a job interview. Um, so what I'll say here, because I don't know who's left in terms of being able to go through, but one thing I want you to all have an understanding of, or at least think about, right, when it comes to your own personal branding, right? What is there something that makes you different from everybody else? So there's some people when they were telling their when they're talking about their narrative, right? You have a specific story. And obviously your story will not be the same as someone else's story, right? That is one example to set yourself apart from other people, right? Because that's a way to differentiate yourself. Like I said in the beginning of the meeting, right? There's over 8 billion of us in this world. Now we're talking like maybe 70, 60, 70 years ago, we were at 4 billion people. And it took that much time to double in population, right? So now this whole idea of being 1 in a million is no longer a thing anymore. It's like 1 in a billion at this point, right? So, yep. Oh, take care, Francisco. So what makes you different from billions of people out there? Right? That's something to really think about. So when you're going through this exercise of in terms of developing your personal branding, right? Some of you actually have told stories or at least talked about certain things that makes you different, right? Those are really good examples, right? If you have additional things, even better, right? But one of the things to really focus on, right, is what makes you different. And sometimes the differences is what matters, right? I think I'm stealing that quote from something. All right, IU, you unmuted yourself?
Yeah, I would like to say that I'm confident enough to say I'm friendly. I'm a typical of friendly. This is my my what is the best character, which is when I want to approach the farmer. Of course, that you must willing to say hi at the beginning, so to say hi to them, and then willing to listen what they have kind of like a difficulty on that time. So I think this is the best part of my the best part of me for myself, that because not everybody willing to listen or what is to approach them directly. So I think this is the difference between me and the other colleagues at the office.
Cool. This is so I'm going to use you as an example here, IU. Part of this will sound maybe a little bit offensive, right? Because first of all, anybody can be friendly and anybody can listen. Here's your differentiator, is that your story about being able to connect with the farmers. Now that's a little bit more distinct, right? So this is what would be an example, right? So by you telling your story, you're able to then showcase your other qualities, your other attributes. So your friendliness, your ability to connect with people, your knowledge and expertise in your field of study, but also too, your experiences being able to have that personal connection with the farmers, and then also your experience, like life experiences overall that you compiled while working with the farmers, right? But you get that differentiator overall through that storytelling. So like you could start to see like when you told that story, it was a very powerful message. And that you, by using that story, it encompassed all of your attributes, right? So when we start listing all our attributes, and then when we compare it to other people, hey, other people have the same attributes. One of the things that makes you different is the story, right? So like you got a really good story, right? Like that's going to be one of the things that will help with your personal branding. Just to kind of put that out there, right? So like this is why I'm saying is going to sound offensive to at least almost everybody here, because essentially we are people. We will have similarities to each other. Like, right? Most of us will have 2 hands, 2 legs, and all that other stuff. We have a brain, left side, right side, things like that. There's going to be certain tendencies that may be similar, right? So, like, for example, like if you catch a cold, at some point you may sneeze, right? Or have runny nose, right? Those are common things that will happen because a lot of that is very just medical, right? But despite all our commonalities, we are still individuals. And as individuals, there's differences. What are those differences? And sometimes it helps to communicate those differences out in a story, right? So sometimes if you're not able to list out what makes you different when it comes to your personal brand equity, because lots of the things that you have, other people have it too, right? Then your differences could be in constructing that narrative. Or it could even be from all the way in the beginning in terms of what is your purpose, right? Maybe you have a purpose that is just so distinctly different from everybody else that other people will be like, huh, I never thought of it that way, right? So think about those differences, right? What sets you apart from other people? So although there's going to be lots of things that we may have in common with each other, there are ways for you to make yourself different from everybody else, right? And that's the thing to think about. So I'm going to take what Nazmul mentioned about creativity. So use your creativity on this one. It'll be good. Okay, so we do have like a couple people that have not gone to your meeting. Okay, Thanh Mai, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Thanh Mai, you joined late, but do you know what we're doing?
Yes, I know, and because I know this, I want to try it at 10 p.m. in my my time, but
10 a.m.
I'm searched in the Facebook and must to repair the topic. So I read this, I try to understand, but no idea come up in my mind. And now I also have an idea to talk about myself. Yeah. Like what difference about me with another people? I think I will describe it by a word that's stubborn. Um, from my side, because like how to say, sorry, uh, why I say that's because I have the situation with English at the first time when I studied at high school. I realized that I like to talk English, but at that time my English not good too much, and my grammar it also terribly. So I have a friend. He's very good at English, but he don't want to talk with me because my English not good too much. So, but I leave him. I quite sad, but I believe him, and I try to learn English day by day. And even though I don't think I will choose English is my major right now, when I'm a first year, I see all people around me. They good English very much, but in myself I cannot speak English well like them, and cannot have a small conversation like many people in my major. So I try to go out and practice English with many people. And now, although many people told me that I don't have ability, I quite sad, but I also leave. I try to practice day by day, and now I apply for a part-time job. I work with foreigner, and then now I look back with my start, I feel it's different. And now also have some people like my coworker, they say, why this vocabulary I talk but you don't know. I say I don't know because I didn't learn it before. And now you told me I can learn it and I will know about it. So don't say me like you stupid or why you don't know. So recently, like 2 days ago, I have hang out with a teacher at um, my center in English. We talked for an hour, and I also talk my story with him, how to say him or her, because I don't know his mm, okay, just
Yep,
give up.
understand.
Skip ahead. Yeah, like maybe I think he's a bisexual or lesbian. I don't know, or gay.
Okay, but
And
just keep on going.
yes. And he say, you have ability. We talk for an hour, and I am a foreigner. I can understand almost of you and you too. So you have ability. And now I find my goal is to be a teacher. So I have a goal to effort to be a teacher in English. Yeah, that's my story.
Okay, so essentially you started off liking the language, but found that, or at least to you, that you're not that good. And by the way, there was a lot of grammatical errors, even in what you were saying, right? Because you would say certain things like, um, I forgot how you said it, but like, but there was a whole bunch of grammatical errors that you were saying. If I go back through the video afterwards when I'm editing, then like I can pick it apart. Um, but nonetheless, right? It's because your imperfection in English, you're using those experiences to understand what it's like to not be good in English. And because of that, it drives you to this goal of then wanting to help other people with English because you've have experienced all uh, of your obstacles in your way along your journey of learning English, right? And practicing English. Um, so this goes back to the idea of experience that you garnered through life experience or expertise you garnered through life experience, right? Um, Side note, I do have a soft spot regarding experiences. So in terms of knowledge, skills, and experience of the three, I do have a more of a bias towards experiences, right? Because you'll start to see that your experiences does take you a long way. But yeah, so I like at least how your storytelling is, right? You kind of skipped over your purpose, uh, defining your purpose and your brand equity. But it's in a sense, what you did there is you just wrapped it up in a story, right? You just put it all in there. So that's pretty good. Like at least you got a good idea of the overall assignment. But other than that, it is getting kind of late. And overall, this was a pretty good session, I would say. And you guys also brought up a bunch of good questions as well. So I would say keep on practicing. For those that may not feel so confident about their English, yeah, just keep on practicing, keep on talking. Um, and if there's anything else like hopefully we'll see more in the next few sessions. I got to think about what to do for next week for week 1. So we'll see how things go with that. But yeah, Professor Parnell will be hosting the next week's meeting. Or if he doesn't, I won't be around anyways. I'm going to go on a trip, so I won't be able to host a meeting even if I wanted to. But other than that, I'll see you guys November, but I'll, definitely you'll see me posting things on the YouTube. So have a good morning, have a good afternoon, and have a good evening, everybody. So take care. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Mai Huong, Daniel Ko, Thanh Mai, and also our teacher. Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good trip, sir.
Yep, thank you. And click.
Words collide like fiddles hum, every accent's welcome some. Round the table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea, let stories play. At the International English Cafe, we don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy quarter lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave, stories told when you believe. At the International English Cafe, words align like fiddles hum. At the International English Cafe, words collide like fiddles hum, every accent's welcome some. Round a table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. Our love is aired, across the world and love is aired. Across the world and love is aired. English Cafe, we don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy quarter lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Here's your face, we find the way, in a little cafe day after day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork little cafe day. Hey, accent charts might trace the globe. We don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave.